Hi, I'm Tanya, and this is Wyatt, and welcome to Faithful Flow in this series, which is about an introduction to yoga breathing. So in this video, I'm just going to very briefly introduce what yoga breathwork is or breathing techniques are, and then I'm going to include this along with several other videos that will cover some specific breathing techniques that you can learn and practice. So breathwork, or what we call pranayama in yoga, it is just this practice that we have to observe and then to control our breathing. And we do that in order to influence our body, our mind, and our energy that we have. So the practice helps to bridge the connection that we have between our physical body and our mental state. So there are all sorts of different breathing techniques available to us, and they all affect the body a little bit differently. So some of them are very calming and very relaxing, and others are very invigorating and energizing. So you can find a breathing technique that kind of helps you with whatever your need is for the day. So thankfully, our breathing is an automatic process, right? It's happening no matter what we're doing, whether we're awake or we're asleep. But things like stress, anxiety, and illness, and just kind of the general accumulation of life can shift us into this position where we're taking really shallow breaths that use only the top portion of our lungs. And so yoga breathing, or these breathing techniques that we have in the yoga practice, can really encourage us to counter that by teaching us to take deep, full, intentional breaths. And by practice breathing in this way, or at least some breath awareness and beginning to control it, we can begin to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. And that parasympathetic nervous system is what's responsible for reducing stress and enhancing our overall well-being. So a lot of times, if you have a very stressful life, where you're living a life under the sympathetic nervous system, so that sympathetic nervous system is what triggers our fight or flight response. And so the parasympathetic nervous system is what counterbalances that. So after we've risen to the challenge of fight or flight, the parasympathetic nervous system helps to trigger a response to bring us back down. But a lot of times, if we live our lives full of stress, we're never really activating this parasympathetic nervous response. And so deep breathing is a way to make sure that we trigger that. And it can do things like reducing heart rate, stimulating digestion, and encouraging a state of calm and rest in our body. So that parasympathetic nervous system is crucial for conserving energy and maintaining long-term health and well-being by supporting things like our immune function, cellular repair, and then just promoting mental clarity and calmness and reduced stress. So you can think of breathing or our breath work as a tool that you have to help calm the body and energize your mind. So I want to cover just a very basic introduction to lung anatomy. So our lungs are our spongy organs in our body. They're in our chest, and they are what is responsible for breathing. So they're made up of tiny little air sacs, and those air sacs are responsible for moving the oxygen that we breathe from the air into our lungs, and then it moves that from our lungs into our body, and then it also expels carbon dioxide from our body. So when we inhale, air travels down our windpipe and into our lungs, and then when we exhale, and as we do that, the lungs expand like little balloons. And then when we exhale, those muscles engage, the lungs shrink like a balloon shrinks, and carbon dioxide is expelled from our body. So the diaphragm is a muscle that's underneath the lungs, and it's rather large, and it's what does the actual work of pumping and the breathing. So as we draw breath in, that diaphragm draws down, and as we exhale, the diaphragm lifts up and pushes air out of our lungs. So it's a fairly simple process, but it's what keeps our body supplied with the oxygen that we need to stay healthy and stay alive. So there are all sorts of benefits to breath work. So first, it can reduce stress and anxiety by activating the relaxation response in our body. It can also enhance our focus and our clarity by bringing awareness to the present moment. It just kind of helps us to hone in on what's happening right now. It can increase our lung capacity and circulation. So deep breathing can really nourish the entire body. It can also help to balance our emotions. It can help to promote that emotional stability and calmness that we have, or that we're craving and that we need in our body and our mind. It can boost our energy, so it can oxygenate the body and really revitalize all of our systems. And then there's also some lung-specific benefits to doing this, or to controlling our breathing. So it can really help to strengthen the respiratory muscles. So by engaging that diaphragm and intentionally using that to breathe, and then also by strengthening those intercostal muscles, which are those muscles that connect each rib to each other. This can also help to increase our lung capacity. So when we regularly take these really deep, full breaths, we can eventually increase the capacity of our lungs. It can improve the oxygen exchange in our body, so that exchange of gases in the lungs will happen a little more efficiently, and it can help to clear stale air. So it can help to express in that residual carbon dioxide or any toxins that we may have in our lungs. And then lastly, it can really help to improve our lung elasticity. So it's not only strengthening those muscles, but it's helping those muscles to stay flexible, so that way the lungs can expand and contract easily and fully. So that's it. It's just a very brief introduction to what yoga breathing is. So I hope to see you soon in some additional videos as we go over some actual yoga breathing techniques. Until I see you then, grace and peace. Bye.